It is 9:07 on a Monday morning. Access is working at some entrances and failing at others. Tenant connectivity is dropping across several floors. The building automation controls have gone quiet, although temperatures are still stable. One facilities engineer is available, and 3 teams are calling to say their system is critical. Which problem gets the first call?
Before anyone chooses a favorite system, I want to know what becomes unsafe, unusable, or much harder to recover if we wait 15 minutes. That is the decision. Not which alarm looks worst, not which team is shouting the loudest.
And I would want someone in the building looking at actual conditions. A quiet automation screen does not necessarily mean equipment is failing. It might mean we have lost visibility while the building remains stable, or it might mean the system is drifting toward a problem nobody can see yet.
So the real problem may not be that 3 systems matter. It may be that nobody agreed on the order before the pressure arrived. Welcome to Built, Wired, and Secured. I'm Alex Morgan. Today, we're asking what should happen when everything is called critical. Michael Harrington works in property operations and business continuity. James Rogers leads facilities and reliability efforts. Gentlemen, good to have you here.
Good to be here. That opening scenario is uncomfortable because it is ordinary. The systems are different, but the pressure is familiar.
Exactly, and the building does not pause while the teams debate definitions.
Let's take the word critical apart. When a team uses it, what are they usually trying to communicate?
Usually, they mean the system supports something important. That is a fair starting point, but it is not a priority decision. A system can be technically important because other systems depend on it. Another can be operationally important because occupants cannot work without it. A third may create a serious business consequence, even though the failure is quiet at first.
So, critical is not a ranking?
Right. It is often a warning that deserves attention. It does not tell you what to do first.
And in facilities, I would finish the sentence, critical to what? Occupant comfort, equipment protection, controlled movement, tenant operations, recovery? If we do not finish that sentence, the label sounds serious but gives an operator very little guidance.
Who usually sees that consequence most clearly? The owner, property management, facilities, IT, security, or the tenant team?
No single group sees all of it. Property management sees disruption and continuity. Facilities sees safe operation, equipment condition, and available staff. IT sees connectivity and dependencies. Security sees access, movement, and visibility. The tenant team knows what work stops when a service degrades.
That sounds collaborative, but here's where I push back. If everyone gets an equal vote, the result can be a beautiful list where every line says urgent. That does not help the engineer standing in front of 3 problems with 1 radio and limited time.
I agree with the concern, but I would not want that to become an excuse to let one department decide alone. That creates blind spots.
No, and I am not arguing for that.
Right. The compromise is simple. Gather the perspectives together, then make one accountable operating decision. Input can be broad. The priority order cannot be vague.
That distinction matters. Shared input, but not shared indecision.
Exactly. The map exists to help someone act at 2 a.m, not to win approval in a planning meeting. Technology should support operations, not complicate them.
Let's return to that Monday morning. We have a 20-story office building. It is full. Access is inconsistent at the lobby. Connectivity is degraded for roughly 600 occupants, and the automation controls are unavailable. Temperatures are stable. 1 engineer is on site. Michael, what is first?
First, establish whether people can enter, exit, and move through the building in a controlled way. If access is inconsistent, but staff can safely manage movement, that may be containable for a short period. Then I would confirm the building condition and communicate the connectivity impact. What breaks if this goes down? The answer is different at 15 minutes, 4 hours, and the next business day.
Hold on. I might put the automation check ahead of connectivity if the field readings show equipment temperatures climbing.
Even though the tenants are already calling about the network?
Yes, if the building condition is worsening, connectivity creates immediate frustration and may stop work. A control problem that is driving equipment toward damage can narrow our options every minute. But if temperatures are stable and the equipment is behaving normally, then I agree, we can buy time and address the services affecting occupants.
That is the key correction. The order is not based only on the system name. It is based on the current consequence. A loss of automation visibility is one condition. A loss of control with worsening equipment behavior is another.
So the priority map needs trigger points, not just a permanent podium where one system always wins.
Exactly. Conditions, occupancy, weather, staffing, and the workaround can change the order. Reliability starts with disciplined maintenance, but resilience also requires disciplined reassessment.
How do teams capture that without building a complicated scoring model that nobody uses?
Use plain language. Ask who is affected, how quickly the consequence becomes serious, what becomes harder to control or protect, and what recovery options are actually available. Put the answers into a simple map, immediate, near-term, or manageable for now. The point is not mathematical precision. The point is making assumptions visible.
And ask what the workaround costs the team in effort. A manual process that needs 3 trained people for 6 hours is not a free fallback. It creates fatigue, communication gaps, and less capacity for the next problem. Preventive maintenance beats emergency repairs every time, but even a good workaround has a human limit.
That brings up another common assumption. If there is redundancy, the system can move down the list.
Not automatically. Redundancy only buys time if it is available, maintained, understood, and usable. A backup path that has never been practiced may look excellent in a document and feel very different during a Monday morning disruption.
Right. Redundancy changes the clock. It does not erase the consequence. If a backup gives you 4 hours instead of 15 minutes, that changes the response window. It should be recorded as an operating condition, then verified during planning and maintenance.
Let's say the team confirms that access can be managed manually, temperatures are stable, and connectivity is affecting most occupants. What does the response look like now?
The team contains access first, assigns someone to monitor the building condition, and directs the next available technical effort toward connectivity because the business impact is broad and already visible. At the same time, property management communicates what occupants can expect. Silence creates a second problem. People invent their own explanation.
And facilities keeps checking that stable really means stable. That is the part people skip when the visible complaint is somewhere else. If the automation issue starts affecting equipment behavior, the order changes again.
Which means a priority map is also a communication tool. It tells different teams what they are watching while someone works on the first problem.
Exactly. From an operational standpoint, the map should help answer 3 questions in real time. Who owns the next action? What condition would change the order? And when do we update the people affected? That is far more useful than simply attaching a critical label to every system.
What mistakes cause the most trouble when organizations build these maps?
The first is treating the map as permanent. Buildings change, occupancy changes, staffing changes. A priority that made sense last year may be wrong after a renovation or a change in operating hours. The second is writing the map in language only one department understands. If an operator cannot use it during a noisy, confusing event, it is too complicated.
I would add siloed calendars, facilities schedules around equipment, IT schedules around connectivity, property management schedules around tenant activity. Each calendar can look reasonable on its own, but together they can create a terrible day for the building.
And prioritization can sound like permission to neglect whatever lands lower.
It should mean the opposite. Every system still needs responsible management. The ranking simply makes limited attention honest. If the team defers one action to protect another, it should understand the trade-off and know what would cause that decision to be revisited.
And after the first problem is stabilized, the next system may become the priority. Recovery is a sequence, not one heroic repair. The best day in operations is the one nobody notices. When something does go wrong, the next best outcome is handling it in the right order.
If listeners schedule a short planning session next week, what should they do in 30 minutes?
Choose one realistic scenario, not every possible failure. Then ask, who is affected at 15 minutes and who is affected at 4 hours? What becomes harder to control, protect, or recover? Those questions turn a technical discussion into a business decision.
Next, name the real workaround. Who performs it? How long can the team sustain it? What assumption would change the order? If nobody has practiced the process or maintained the fallback, write that down. It is not a criticism. It is the next reliability task.
And compare the answers across property management, facilities, IT, security, and the affected business teams. If their rankings differ, do not smooth that disagreement away. Ask what each group is trying to prevent. That is where the useful planning begins.
The goal is not to prove one department right. It is to make sure the building can respond coherently when resources are limited.
That wraps up this episode of Built, Wired, and Secured. Today we explored why labeling every system critical can weaken decision-making, and how ranking consequences by time, impact, and recovery options creates a more useful operating plan. Before your next disruption, choose one real scenario and bring the teams together for 30 minutes. Ask who is affected first, what becomes harder to control or recover, what the workaround requires, and what would change the order. Then document the decision while the building is calm, not when one engineer is standing between 3 failures. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us. Until next time, make sure the systems you're responsible for are built to last, wired with intention, and secured for the real world. Built to last, wired with intention, secured for the real world.